What is up, YouTube? I'm TF Collector, and today we're going to be continuing our journey through the Transformers Studio Series line with the Transformers Studio Series 03 Deluxe Class Crowbar. So let's start off by taking a look at the packaging that the figure comes in. Right up front, we have Crowbar right there. He is number 3 of the Studio Series. He is Crowbar. 8 and up, Hasbro. Transformers Dark of the Moon is the movie he is from. Transformers down the side, Autobot logo there. Takara there. Moving Crowbar out of the way, on this side of the box we have a nice portrait of Crowbar, Studio Series number 3 Deluxe Class. On the other side, that same picture of Crowbar, just a little more zoomed out with the Autobot logo, and another one there. On the back of the packaging, he is big screen inspired. You have some nice product images from the high-speed chase Dark of the Moon Crowbar. Here we can read the bio. Crowbar obliterates oncoming obstacles to reach the Autobots. Backdrop included, we will take a look at later. The rest of this deluxe way we've already checked out Bumblebee and Stinger. Those reviews are already up on the channel. Check that out if you haven't already. He transforms in 20 steps. He is a licensed GM product. And of course, more Hasbro. On the bottom, you have a barcode. And on the top, Dark of the Moon once again. Now, before we jump into the figure himself, he does, of course, come with his instruction manual. Studio Series number 3 Crowbar, Deluxe Class, Dark of the Moon, 8+, Transformers. Picture of the figure there. And on the back, Takara, licensed GM product, and Hasbro. Now, moving on to the figure itself, here we have Crowbar from Transformers Dark of the Moon. And let's start off by taking a look at the details on this vehicle mode. Right up front here, we have a Chevy logo. Of course, as we saw with the packaging, it is a licensed GM product. You have white paint there for the headlights. Some nice details here on the hood. You have 2 sets of sirens up top with a little bit of dust. This guy has been on the shelf a while. Here on the sides, you can see that you do have navy blue painted windows all around. You have the mirrors there with a Decepticon logo there. Other than that, it is mostly just black. One complaint I do have is I wish they would have painted that hinge there black, because that does stand out a little. But other than that, some nice molded details. Even the door handle is molded in, and the gas cap looks pretty good. The wheels are pinned on, which means they roll well. The back here, other than this, which we'll get to in a second, has a Chevy logo and 2 tail lights painted in red. The other side is the same as the first. You have that Decepticon logo there. That is the top of your figure, and that is the bottom. Now, down here at the bottom, I want to start with one of my complaints of this figure, which is these dreads. Now, these are supposed to fold over according to the instructions and sit in here, which I'm sure you could do, but these aren't exactly a soft plastic. They're actually a hard plastic that really seems like they could break. They haven't yet on mine, and I'm not sure if they have for anyone else, but I am not comfortable completely bending these the other way into there, because as you can see, they're already bent the other way, because that's the way you want them in robot mode. So I feel like there could have been a better way that they should have done this that would have kept that from looking that way. Now, accessory-wise, Crowbar here does come with 2 of the same accessories, that being this little gunmetal gray piece we get here. You can see it is just a rubber plastic. It is what he throws at Ironhide, or I'm not sure if it's him or Crankcase that throws it at Ironhide in Dark of the Moon, but you can see some nice spikes going on there. Doesn't look too bad. Could have been painted better and didn't necessarily have to be rubber, but I can see why, because of all the points they decided to make it rubber. Now, both of these are the same, and they do store on the vehicle mode here. We can bring in Crowbar, and you see this little tab here. We'll go into that little slot there on the side. So you just tab that in. Do the same with the other side. And that is your storage. And I'm not a big fan of that because it does stick out the side. I wish they could have stored it under here somewhere. It does look a little interesting. But that really is it for the vehicle mode. So we're going to go ahead and transform Crowbar. Now, to begin the transformation, the first thing we want to, of course, do is go ahead and remove these accessories and put those off to the side. Now, the first thing we can do is come here, and you want to untab this piece and flip it around like so and tab this piece, not the whole leg, preferably. Let's leave that in for now. We just want to untab this piece, and you can see this tabs in via that tab and that slot, which will move right back like so. Now you want to come up front here and untab this front grill. You see a tab on each side. We'll go into a slot on each side right there. Bring that down. Now what we can do is take this front piece, raise this all the way up, and this piece will collapse down like so. Now what we can do is we can come here to the sides, and you want to untab these pieces and swing the legs down. Basically how these will tab in is that tab right there will go up into that slot right there. So go ahead and swing that piece down. Do the same thing on this other side, untab it and bring it down. Now we want to work here on this back section. What we want to do first is we want to get these arms untabbed from the side. So go ahead and untab those like so. Just free it up. You don't want to bring them out yet. Just free that up. And then you can take this whole section and raise it up. Basically how that tabs in, if I can get to an angle where you can see it here, this tab right here will go into the inside of this piece right there. I'm not sure if you can see that quite as good as I wish you could, but that is how that will tab in. Now you can bring this whole section up like so, collapse it there, and collapse it there. Now the next thing we're going to want to do is come here to these pieces and swing them forward. Swing that one forward, swing the other one forward, and then what we can do is come here and swing this set of dreads backwards. And now what we want to try to do is stand this guy up. So we want to raise, or rather lower, his legs down, and this waist section for transformation is bent like that. You want to bring that back for robot mode. Now what we can do is rotate the legs like so and like so, bring the feet forward like so and like so, and then come under here and flip these wheels back. Now to work on the arms, what we can do is bring those down on each side, rotate them 180 degrees like so, and then what you want to do is rotate the bicep like so. Come to the hands and get those out and bring the hands out like so. Same thing on the other side. Just get your fingernail in there and bring that hand out like so. And then what we can do is push these pieces in if they haven't done it for you already. And now the final thing to do is come back here and situate his back. What we're going to do is bring this piece down and sit it like that, and then bring that butt flap down, and everything should sit like that. And that is basically it for the robot mode. The last little thing that you can do if you wish to do so for movie accuracy purposes is just push his head forward like so, and then you play around with these dreads and get them sitting how you wish. And when all is said and done, here you have CROWBAR in his robot mode. And accuracy-wise, I really think this guy captures the look from the Dark of the Moon movie. Raising the camera up a little bit here so we can zoom in a little more on this face sculpt and get a better look at that. As you can see, very, very nice head sculpt. They really got the whole CROWBAR look down from Dark of the Moon, from the fangs to the red eyes with nice silver paint all around. Very nicely done head sculpt. Really love that. The red going through the body with all this detailing looks really, really good. Really gives me a better appreciation for the figure than I would have without all that detail. Coming down the leg, you have a little more red down this side. The fingers do have a sort of orange paint on the inside of them just to give them some more texture, and they also have some very nice detail coming down the side. As for the backpack, it's not terrible because the dreads stick out further, but it also isn't great. You can see it is just a car sitting there on his back and on his butt, and also here on the back of his arms and the back of his legs. Overall, he looks very good in my opinion. He gets the job done as far as a movie accurate CROWBAR goes, But where my complaints do come in is the kibble management with the back of the legs, the back of the arms, the back itself. I think they could have done a better job compressing all of that and making him look like a better figure overall. Now, of course, he is an articulated action figure, so he has articulation. Starting off with a ball joint on the head that will rotate all the way around. This hinge that his head itself sits on, so he go boots and cats and boots and cats and boots and cats and boots. You get the gist. Now the arms are on a ball joint as well. They can do a full 360. They can move out that far. They're also on a hinge for transformation purposes, so he can do the YMCA if you want him to. He does have bicep rotation. He does have over 90 degrees of bend at his elbow. His wrist can move in due to transformation. Nothing at the waist swivel-wise. Unfortunately, he can have a bit of an ab crunch due to transformation, which is also very cool for some crowbar-like poses. Now the legs are on ball joints. They can kick forwards that high, backwards not quite as far, just due to this butt flap and the way he transforms. They can move out only that far due to the wheel. You have thigh rotation, you do have knee bend slightly over 90, and you do have ankle up and down due to transformation. Now for a couple quick rapid fire comparisons for Crowbar here. Here we have him with the first entry into the Studio Series. Number 1, Deluxe Class Bumblebee, the first figure we took a look at here on the channel. Go check that review out if you haven't already. There is a playlist with all of the Studio Series figures that will be updated as we go through this series. But Crowbar here, you can see he does scale a little taller than Bumblebee, as he should. He was a bigger guy in the movie. And for the other quick comparison, you can probably guess. It's the other figure that we checked out on the channel already, that being Studio Series 02 Deluxe Class Stinger, a figure that I got a lot more appreciation for after doing the review here recently. And the same thing is happening for this guy. He's really growing on me. He's not perfect, but he's getting better for me, and I'm enjoying him a lot more. And as you can see, he's also taller than Stinger there. Now the last thing to touch on with Crowbar here is the display base that he comes with, that I will keep including in my reviews and saying that it is very sad that they're doing away with these in future Studio Series figures, because I really do think that these make for a really cool display option. But there you have Crowbar with his. I would try to put him on it, but those dreads just get in the way, so we're going to have him in front. He is number 3 of Studio Series. You can see the Dark of the Moon right back there with the Autobot logo. Another one there, and Transformers, and you have a beautiful display from the Highway Chase in Dark of the Moon. And after messing around with Crowbar here a little more for this review, I must say this first wave of Studio Series gets a lot of hate because it has improved so much since this first wave came out. But I also really think that too much hate gets brought on these first 3 deluxe figures that we've taken a look at. While they are not perfect, and they are in the mid-range, a lot of people say they're terrible, and I'm going to have to disagree with that. While the transformation can be a little annoying because of the dreads, while I fix his little arm piece here, and there are parts of him like the articulation, like the backpack, like the kibble, that aren't perfect, he's still a fun figure and makes for a really good display piece, especially for someone that loves Dark of the Moon as much as I do. I could be a little biased because he's from Dark of the Moon, because I love collecting those figures that come from that movie, but I really do think this is an overhated figure, and I honestly would recommend it. It's still going to be over a 5. I still recommend it. I don't think it's as good as the Stinger or the Bumblebee. Unfortunately, I do think it's the weakest out of this first wave of deluxes. Not because of transformation, not because of looks. Well, honestly, it is kind of a little because of transformation. I think Stinger, so far, out of the 3 we've taken a look at, has the best transformation. That Bumblebee just has that backpack that falls off all the time. And this guy has these dreads that get in the way all the time that can be a bit annoying. But he's also hindered in the articulation. He doesn't have the best kibble management, but he does make for a good display piece. And that makes up for a lot of it for me personally, who really just displays these figures and gets them off the shelf every once in a while. So for that, I'm going to give Crowbar here a 6.5 out of 10. that is the same rating I gave the Bumblebee and the Stinger, but I do say he's the worst of the 6.5s. Not quite down there enough for me to give him a 6, but I feel like a 6.5 is still a good place to stick with this Studio Series line. So there you have Transformers Studio Series 03 Deluxe Class Crowbar, and I thank you for checking out this review. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. That does a lot for me, and it'll do a lot for the quality of these future reviews. I thank you all for watching. Peace.